Well, I'm sure. I guess you guys have. Did they talk to the players already? Y'all are done. You know, I know everybody's excited about the bowl game, and everybody's asked me, why is it important to go to a bowl game? To me, it's the benchmark standard for every program. I don't care who you are. Every year, you want to have a winning season and go to a bowl game. It certainly is good for recruiting, as far as the direction of your program and where you're headed, and what their opportunities are when they come to Tennessee. And it's an opportunity to continue to develop and coach your football team to get better. And, you know, people ask me, wow, are you going to do some extra practicing for the young guys? And my answer was, we don't need to, because the normal practice, we practice our young guys because that's all we got. And so, you know, it's a good opportunity for us to continue to coach and develop all these freshmen who've contributed so well this year, but who need so much more development. So we're happy about that. I think it's especially important because we're playing in Nashville. And this is the fourth stadium that we've played in Tennessee this year, which is probably unprecedented. And every stadium that we've been in the state, I feel like when we run out of the tunnel, it's like we took our show on the road. Because of the Tennessee fans. They've just been incredible, and I know it's going to be a great show by our fans this game. On a roster note, Jansen Jackson is dealing with some very, very personal and family issues. He's back in Louisiana. We expect him, I don't know exactly when he'll be back. We do expect him to play. We do expect him to be back at some point to prepare for the game. But that's really all I want to say about it because it is very personal, and I want to respect his privacy on that. And we're always going to be there to support our players on those kind of issues. Our bowl schedule, just so you guys get a feel, I think I mentioned it before I broke out of here, but I kind of look at it in 4 phases. And we just completed phase 1. Phase 1 is sort of a mini summer where our team was lifting, they were running, staying in physical condition, and we were doing some individual work and 7-on-7 work without pads. They were just throwing and catching, a little bit like what we do all summer. So it was a good time to recover from the season and then to start building back a little bit, staying in shape and staying sharp. Phase 2 will start tomorrow, and that's sort of a mini camp. It's a 4-practice window of training camp, and we will not do anything at all that relates to our opponent. So it's all good on good. It's all our plays against your defense, and we play. And we work a lot of fundamentals. We work blocking, tackling, catching, throwing, defending, all the basics. And so this is that opportunity that you really cherish. Phase 3 will start on Monday, which is we're going to go through a game week as if we were playing the following Saturday. So we'll start on Monday with a scouting report like we always do with our team, and we'll have a standard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday format before we break for Christmas. Give them 2 days off to get them to recover, and then we report on the bowl site for phase 4, which is Tuesday of game week. So even though it's Sunday, in my mind, it's Tuesday because the game is always Saturday. So that's where we're headed. We're playing a great opponent, as talented a team as I've seen all year on film. Very talented, great coaches, went through a lot of adversity that affected their results, but has done a great job of overcoming it. And so give their coaching staff credit for the job they've done this year in keeping them focused through a lot of distraction. So that's all I got for you guys. Your turn.
Other than Jansen, Derek, do you have any other personnel issues, grades, or anything? Art Evans wasn't in the bowl game.
Okay, yeah, Art is we'll reevaluate Art's status at the end of the bowl game. We did dismiss Stephon Rains. That hasn't been released. Is that right? All right. So Stephon Rains has been dismissed for team rule violations. To this point, I don't know of academic. I haven't been reported any academic casualties of the 6-hour rule. I think that's what you're getting at. And if there is something, we'll know in the next day or two. You know, there's 1 or 2 that we're worried about, but it's not official yet. So that's really it. You know, I forget what happened since the season. So sometimes I'm not withholding anything. I don't know what I've told you guys.
So Montori?
He's back. Yeah. Oh yeah, because he was suspended in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He's back. Who else?
So with Art, you said you're going to evaluate after the bowl. You said
Yeah, he's not going to be cleared before the bowl. So we'll evaluate his status going forward after the game.
When did Jansen leave?
Jansen left Thursday or Friday. When was he took his last exam? I think it was the day or two after his last exam.
Was he sent home or did he ask to go home?
No, this is his decision. It's personal. Yeah, I don't want to keep diving in, guys. I know y'all want to ask, and I know there's a real curiosity factor on, you know, what is it?
But whenever he is comfortable down there with that to return,
Right.
it's in Nashville
It's on his.
here or wherever.
It's on his schedule, not mine. It's on his schedule. So.
What will you do without him? Prentice back to safety?
Well, we're going to prepare without him and with him. So that's how we're going to prepare. Those are some discussions we'll have here soon. You know, our coaches have been on the road recruiting, so we haven't had a lot of. They're just now coming off the road, so we haven't done. Everybody's kind of done their little individual things, but we haven't really gotten together looking ahead on these next few days and the next 2 weeks because we've been putting all our emphasis on recruiting.
Derek, how do you balance? You get 15 allotted practices, I think, for the bowl. You guys are obviously starting a little bit later. Will you get in all 15, and how do you balance how hard you go and managing the 15?
Well, I think, you know, I don't think I think there's a lot of teams that practice more than we do. So let's start with that. I don't think, I'm not one of those guys, they allow us this, so we kill them. You know, our job to me is we want to develop them and grow, but we want to try to do what we need to do to win the football game. And, you know, you're allowed to practice on Friday before the game, but you don't go out there and hit. So what I've done, Brent, is that mini camp is we're getting after it pretty hard. And it's going to be good on good. There's going to be some tackling. It's going to be physical. It's going to hurt. And, you know, there's kind of 3 objectives of it. One is to kind of bring them back into the grind of football. You know, get them back in football playing shape. There's a conditioning component, and then there's a fundamental component, you know, getting them to improve fundamentally. So that's where we're going to really hump them. All right, then when we go game week, we're going to do it just like we did every game week, no more, no less. And then when we get to the bowl site, we're just going to kind of redo Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, but a little modified.
Is part of that because you are so young, you played everybody? It's not this, oh, it's an extra spring practice for 12 kids who redshirted.
We don't have, it's only 4 or 5 guys who hadn't been getting reps, you know. So part of it's that, but it's also, you know, the camp practices, let me say it this way. If we had more guys redshirted, we would probably have a little more time to integrate them into the practice. We don't have to do that. So I'm not sure we'd have a lot more practices, but how it would be structured would be a little differently.
Derek, you mentioned the importance of the bowl in terms of recruiting. A, how much did you talk about that when you're in the home with prospects? And then B, you know, how important is it during that dead period that you guys are still visible at some point on TV?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really talk about the fact that we're going to a bowl. You know, the one thing that's great about this program is the exposure you get. The players know. I mean, and there was great reception out there from high school coaches and players and fans about the last 4 games. And so the beauty of this program is they're seeing it. And so you don't really have to sell that part. We're really selling the other stuff, what we can do for them when they come here. But yeah, it is important. You know, during that bowl week, you want to see that power tee on there.